If, for
wanted...
instance, your daughter,
Yeah.
right, was with a wrong 'un, a complete bad man, and he was treating her terribly, and they hadn't been together very long, and she got pregnant and she said, Mum, I really don't want to have this baby. I don't think my life's going to be good at all with him. What would you advise? Would you say she should tell him or not? What would you do?
Then maybe, you know, she should not particularly tell him. I think maybe it's her decision then, but I have to say my daughter's only ever been in a nice relationship.
Yeah.
She's never had to make that decision. But if she was...
And you'd kill him.
And if she, I would kill him. But if she wanted the baby, then I would be there and I would support her through it. But if she wanted to get rid of the baby, then that's her choice.
But this is bringing this back to rights, Janice, isn't it? And saying that it's such a grey area. And I have to say, I found this a real... Didn't know what I thought about it.
But it's not a grey area when it's happening to you.
No.
Like, I was a teenager when I got pregnant and had an abortion, and I stayed with the guy, and then...
Did you tell him at the time?
Yes, but I was so young. I think I was 16 or 17. And then a year later, I got pregnant again, but by then, I'd split with him. I dumped him.
Have you not heard of contraception, love?
No. We're talking back in the Stone Age. But this was in the 1960s, so I had dumped him. So I rang him up and said, I'm having an abortion. And I told him, well, that's what I'm going to do. But I feel very, very strongly that it's a woman's right to decide what she wants to do. I feel really, really strongly about that, because you're going to carry the child, and if you want that child, well, you know, it's up to you. But quite honestly, if you split up with the person, why does he have to know?
I mean, I like you, I went, all around the houses with this today, because I think it depends about the relationship you have, and like you said, it might be a one-night stand or not, or... I think it still, though, for me, comes down to the woman's right to choose. It's your body. You have to carry that baby. And I don't think a man should have the right to say to you, I want you to keep it. But actually, there are a handful of countries in the world where consent from the father is a legal requirement. In Syria, Syria, Saudi Arabia and Equatorial New Guinea.
Yeah, those countries where women's rights are so important,
Exactly. And you think, why would you take that away from women, you know, particularly in countries like that where they have so few rights?
So even in America, where this is all being played out, the highest court in the land says it is the woman's right to choose to have an abortion, and it's still, you know, part of American law, just as it is here. And I would hate to see that change. But this made me start thinking about the whole idea of motherhood has changed so much in the last decade since civil partnerships and gay marriages. Now we have a whole new way of conceiving babies using surrogates and foster parents, and women giving their eggs and men giving their sperm to their friends or whatever. So the whole way that children are created now has changed, and I personally welcome it. I think it's fantastic.
But I think it is. But I must admit, in my lifetime, I'd be lying if I said I haven't found it suddenly just rush through it, and I'm adjusting still to so many things that have changed and getting my head round it.
But I think it's the old idea, what made a great parent. Back when I was a child, it was a mum and dad. Now, it's two people or even one person who care, who love that child, and how that child was brought into the world.
It can throw up problems. There's a case you were mentioning this morning about in America where there's embryos. I mean, it's very confusing.
This is really, really interesting. The actress, Sofia Vergara, in America, she's stars in Modern Family. She and her ex-fiancé have got, obviously, she went for IVF, and they've got frozen embryos. That's when the sperm and the egg, her egg, have been fertilised, and they're stored. And she wants to use those embryos to get pregnant, and she's desperate to use them, and he's going to court.
So she's with a new partner.
Yeah.
Was it he's desperate to use them? He wants to use them.
No, he wants to use them. She doesn't want to. She wants them destroyed.
Sorry, I've got it the wrong way round.
She wants them destroyed.
So he's saying you can't destroy them because I own half.
But why does he want
embryos.
to keep them if he's not with her anymore?
Because he might be with somebody else, where he could say, well, those embryos have been fertilised with
her,
my...
isn't it?
But it's part of her. Why with her?
It's part of him
He's
too.
met someone else. She's met someone else. She's had a baby with someone. So if he used those, then the baby would be partly hers, and she'd have no sort of rights over that baby.
But battles like this deliberately have a baby with an ex that you don't want to be with anymore, and I think it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Say he was with a new partner. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Oh,
think.
Ruth, I love it when you do this.
Say he was with a new partner who couldn't conceive a baby.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
He could then say, well, I've got those embryos and,
And
half
also,
that
there are court
embryo's
cases
mine.
in this country of women whose husbands have died or have got
Yeah.
incurable diseases who've frozen embryos, and they've won the right to use those embryos after their husbands have died, and that's a really important case.
Oh, it's so confusing.
But I think what's happened is what we're talking about is the whole idea of being a mother or carrying a baby has changed so fast
Yes.
in the
and
last
it's changing
half-dozen
all
years.
the time,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, they were saying research this week where they were saying they could grow an embryo outside
the womb, yeah.
a womb now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is mind
What,
blowing.
completely to the end?
Yes,
They-
in a kind of petri dish.
Yeah.
They would test it. I mean, it is mind blowing.
Wow.
If you've enjoyed that, then why not click here for more? And don't forget to subscribe by clicking here so that you never miss out on the best Loose Women moments.